Welcome to Double Take, a program dedicated to delivering only the finest of gaming discourse.
So, noob, how's Kingdom Hearts 3?
Yeah, it's pretty good so far. I've got some complaints about the story, though. Sora never kisses Riku. Pete never kisses Sephiroth.
Well, guess who just came up with a new idea for some fan art?
Just start the show already.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Double Take. I'm your host. You want to take it?
No, you go ahead. It's your intro. I'm sorry.
No, it's all right. All right, everybody. I'm your host, DJ Noob, a.k.a. the Eternally Sleepy, because I'm super tired today. And I'm joined by my co-host.
And yes, I'm your co-host, DJ J-Star, who's also coming in with a little bit of a cold, so if there's some sniffling and coughing, I apologize in advance. And who are we joined by to my left right here?
We got DJ Dunscap once again.
Dunscap back again from last week.
You know what I'm saying? We all tired and stuff here, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But we got some news to talk about today, guys.
Oh, yeah. We got some good stuff on it.
Weather.
Big news. But first, we have one important thing to get out of the way. The views, comments, and opinions expressed on this show are those of individuals and not necessarily shared by Griffin Radio, the Media Communications Department, Grossmont College, or the Grossmont-Cuyamaca Community College District. This podcast is copywritten by Griffin Radio and Grossmont College 2019. Thank you.
All right, yeah, so now they can't send their lawyers after us, so that's good.
Nope. Yeah, good thing, too, because we're talking about a big company today.
Oh, yeah, very big.
Who we talking about? Huh?
Oh, I don't know if you heard the news, but Google announced, there was a rumor going around that Google was going to have a new console.
Google.
And they announced what it was, and it's actually not a console. It appears to be a streaming service.
Live streaming, gaming streaming service, right?
Yeah, I think you were talking about this yesterday, weren't you, DJ Dunscap?
Yeah, I was watching it on my iPhone.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, what is this? The Stadia? Google Stadia?
Yeah, so describe what this is to our audience.
All right, well, there's still not that... Well, they explained a lot of features, but we still don't know that much about it yet. What we know for sure is that it's going to be a streaming service that's going to launch in 2019 in the U.S., UK, Canada, and Europe. And it's going. So basically, the way they showed it off on the stage floor was that, like, let's say you're watching a video, like a YouTube video of of Assassin's Creed Odyssey. That's the example they showed.
Okay.
And then as you're watching the video, a button or a link will come up that says "Play Now," and you push that button, and it'll like instantly take you to the game, and within seconds you'll be streaming the game. And that's kind of what they showed it off as being. So they want it to be a really fast, a really convenient streaming service. And the specs for it looked pretty good too. So they did like a test stream last year called I think it was called Project Stream actually.
I think that's what it was, yeah.
And they did the same thing where they would stream Assassin's Creed Odyssey. And according to the let me see, I got it written down here. Yeah, and according to what people said is that it was streaming at 1080p 60 FPS with stereo sound, and that was last year.
Dope.
It's not bad. It's actually really good.
And by the time they launched, they wanted to support up to 4K, 60 frames PS HDR with 60 FPS. I'm sorry, HDR and surround sound streaming.
Mm-hmm.
And that it's actually going to go on from there. They said eventually they want it to stream at 8K at 60 frames per second or 120 plus frames per second.
Wow.
Yeah. So really ambitious, and I think Google can actually do it. Because if there's anybody who can do it, it's probably Google. They've got the infrastructure for it.
They do have the infrastructure for it, but what I'm wondering about is that these streaming services. How are they going to get all these games onto their streaming service? How are they going to support all these games?
That I'm not 100% sure on. I'm sure developers are going to go up to them and offer to put their games up, or just give them licenses for their games. And Google did also announce that they have their own first-party studio now developing games for them. So they're going to
really?
Yeah, so they're going to have exclusives eventually.
That's going to be... Oh, yes, I can't wait for the Google exclusive Run Dinosaur 2 Remastered.
Yeah, apparently one of the most played games in the world, according to Google. They actually had that come up on the GDC Pressville conference, where they'd have the Run Dinosaur going on in the background, and it's like, oh, this is the most
played game in the world, Little Dinosaur.
I'm not going to trust it until it comes out.
Yeah.
Talking about all that performance, okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty big.
Well, because here's the thing. It's a streaming service, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which means data has to be sent in and data has to come back.
Mm-hmm.
So because there's that data going in and coming back, even though the specs are, Google's servers are really powerful, they can pump out some crazy power.
Oh yeah.
We'll go more into that later. That's still a lot of data that you have to send and a lot of data that you have to receive.
Okay.
and that can create problems if you have a data cap. That's going to create some problems. If you have like a poor internet connection, you're not going to be able to take full advantage of that.
If you got like slow Wi-Fi or like you said a data cap, that could like slower the speed of the game, lower the FPS, frame rates per second. That could lower a lot of things. That could really ruin the gaming experience for you.
It could really lower the quality,
especially if you're playing like a higher tier game, like not playing some like tiny little pixel game like an indie guy in his basement. But we're talking like a third party
like
big
Doom,
game,
like Doom Eternal. They showed off Doom Eternal at GDC, playing through the Google streaming service.
Mm-hmm. Oh no, are you guys gonna buy it?
Doom
probably
Eternal,
not.
probably.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean the Google or the Stadia? No, I'm probably not going to buy it.
Yeah, I mean, look,
it's a streaming service.
It's a streaming service, and you need internet 24/7 to play it.
Yeah, but it's going to be helpful for certain people because.
Oh yeah, sure.
Here's the thing about streaming service, and particularly with Google, is that because they're the ones doing all the processing, you don't need like a super powerful like rig to play these games anymore. Mm-hmm. And they showed that off. They intentionally brought like a bunch of like really like lower end PCs and laptops and smartphones and tablets onto the stage floor, and they showed the game jumping between all these different platforms. So it's not just going to be like a computer thing. It's going to be on your tablet, your phone, laptop, PC. Yeah. Pretty much anything with a screen is going to be able to run this thing. From what
I don't remember what I saw, but I think someone I don't know what do you mean someone? All right, what am I saying? They showed a part where you could like customize it. Like upgrade stuff. I don't know if I was wrong about that. I don't know.
Upgrade?
Maybe I'm tripping.
The service or
like the Stadia itself, like the box. You know what I'm saying?
The box. I don't think it's a box. That's one thing they mentioned. That's like the one of the catchphrases, the slogans, is that the future is not a box, it's a place.
That's
I cut.
That's one of those really. It's one of those really lofty, pretentious things that don't really mean anything.
Do not listen to me.
Because everywhere is a place.
It sounds like they're trying to like be like the Netflix of gaming, kind of.
Yeah. Those services have existed.
That's a good way to put it.
That's what there was a service called On Live, I think, that launched back in maybe 2010, and it was a game streaming service, but nobody really wanted it because it wasn't very good. And even now, Sony has their own streaming service with PlayStation Now.
Yeah, they have PlayStation Now, and you can play the old PS3, the PS2, PS3 games and stuff, but it's a subscription, I think.
Yeah, I think it's also a subscription.
Unless your PS3 still works, and you can just go on a PlayStation store.
Yeah, unless your PlayStation
all
3
PS1 games for cheap.
Yeah,
paying what, $20 for a subscription service?
Yeah, it depends, but not everybody has a PS3, so that's the thing. It's There's a.
If you're a Sony fan, you should keep your stuff. I'm just saying
that. I keep my stuff, but my controllers are broken though, so I can't even play my PS3 anymore.
Really? Oh,
yeah.
Slamming too much?
I don't know. They break after a while.
Okay. throwing your controller at the wall.
PS3 controllers are weird, man. They get sticky and they break after a while. I don't know what's wrong with them.
Yeah. I still got my fat one though. It still works.
Yeah, mine's a fat one too. It still works. It just the controller doesn't work.
Upgraded the hard drive and everything.
Yeah. So I don't know, but this does sound kind of interesting because they're gonna have it in a box, right? It's gonna be like a console, right?
A box.
I don't think it's a console. They didn't show off a console. They just showed it like streaming. They just showed it like streaming through computers and tablets and stuff like that.
Not buying it.
It's gonna be. It's gonna be this is. Google's got some brass cojones there to do this kind of thing, and it has to work because they're talking they're talking a lot right now. They're hyping this thing up, but if it fails, it's gonna look bad on them.
Yeah, well, they've had failures before in the past. Like who remembers Google Glass?
Oh God, I remember that.
Yeah, so Google has had failures, but they're going in pretty hard on this one, and I think they can make it work. It seems like it could be good because gaming streaming services do exist already.
Mm-hmm.
And they from what I can tell, I don't use them, but they're pretty good from what I can tell if they're still going on. Like in Japan, you can actually stream Nintendo the RE7 on your Switch in Japan.
Really?
Yeah, because like I said, because the servers handle all the processing power, and it just streams the data to your game.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
So your console doesn't have to be like really powerful to play a game like RE7, and that's kind of what they're going for. Is here they want to get they're trying to get more people into gaming. I think is what one of their goals they said. So by giving people who don't have powerful PCs or big consoles access to Google Stadia.
So this seems more like they're trying to go for more of the PC gamers.
No, they're trying to go for the more casual market.
Gamers.
Okay, so
the more they're going for a really broad market because they want people who don't typically play games to play games, and people who don't typically play games.
That's what's ruining a lot of the game industry.
What
we're just gonna cater to the lowest common denominator. We don't. I mean, sure.
That-
look,
that-
I'm
that's-
an
For
extremist
game,
with this stuff.
for game design, yes, I think that stuff is ruining
Yeah.
game design. But this isn't game design. This is just getting people to play games.
Getting people, and I
Yeah.
support that.
Because there's people,
support
like I
that.
said, there's a lot of people who have like smartphones or tablets, but they don't have like a, they maybe can't afford like an Xbox or like
Yeah.
a PS4 or a PC.
Yeah.
So this is for them.
Hmm.
Because this gives them an option to play. Because like I said, Google servers handle all the processing, and it just streams the data to your
Your computer,
device.
whatever you're using. Yeah.
Yeah. So you don't need a $400 console to play Assassin's Creed Odyssey anymore.
Well, they're going to have a lot of competition as well. So I've read some reports about this. They're saying it's either a console savior or a console killer because this could
Consoles are on their way out for sure. They've been on their way out for a while now.
Or they could be like on the way.
Digital's the future, man. It's just so much more. Even I used to like be one of those people that like fought against it. But then I started buying my games digitally because I like hated going to like a store every time I wanted to get a game, and then they'd be out of the game a lot of the time.
Mm-hmm.
So buying digital is just really convenient.
Yeah, digital
And
downloads
it's going
are
to
starting
be-
to become a lot
You
more
think consoles
convenient.
are going to move into singularity, like just with computers? We can just upgrade our consoles.
There'll probably still be consoles.
Yeah.
For at least the next generation, for sure. There's gonna have consoles. Maybe the one after that too. But they're gonna be like more like digital focused, I think.
Yeah.
And eventually,
Yeah, that's the future.
they
That's already
probably-
here.
they
So-
probably will be streaming. They probably will be like streaming like more in the future too. But I'm personally not a fan of that.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know about streaming video games because I don't know how that would exactly work.
Because the problem with video game streaming isn't that the games don't look good. It's latency.
Yeah.
So when you're streaming, you're sending data back and forth. So when you push a button in a game, that it takes time for that button prompt to register in the game because it has to send and receive the data.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
that leads to latency. So it's like when you're playing a game online and there's like a little bit of lag
Yeah.
and and you feel like slow. That's because of latency.
There could be a lot of lag coming in with streaming,
Or it
especially
could be
if
a
it's-
hacker,
It could be
messing
accurate.
with your connection.
never
using aimbots.
That's one thing Google brought up is that there's going to be no hackers or cheaters because they're the ones monitoring
I do not
everything.
believe that. I do not
Yeah.
believe that.
The hackers
Someone's gonna
find
do
a
it.
way to around everything.
Every time somebody says, "Hey, you guys, you can't hack me," they get hacked like the next day.
Yeah, you can't deny these people, man. They're always there.
There's
They're in the
always
trenches.
some guy sitting in his mama's basement and looking for ways to hack.
in the mama's basement, man. Got nothing to do, man.
Nothing to do but hack and troll online.
And look, I know Google is like a super powerful like corporation, so they have like loopholes and things to protect themselves from hackers, but someone will find a way around that.
Someone always finds a way. If it's digital, somebody will find a way
Mm-hmm.
through it. There's always ways around it.
Someone will always crack the code.
Action replay.
Action replays, I remember that.
Game Shark.
Crack the code. Yeah, man. Game Shark. My
Game Shark on
GameCube.
that Google Stadia.
Game Shark at the Google Stadia. Let's get it. I want to do
I
it.
remember using it for Melee. Game Shark.
Oh yeah,
Playing
I
as
would use
Giga
it.
Bowser.
That was fun. I remember using it for Soul Calibur 2 and
Soul
playing,
Calibur
playing
2.
as the final boss, which was super broken.
Playing as Master Hand.
Those were good times. Good times.
And we don't get that. Well, we still get that nowadays with mods and stuff like that.
Yeah, mods. Ooh, that's actually a good question. Will they allow mods on the streaming?
They didn't mention mods at all.
Hmm.
But
Mods. What kind of
maybe-
mods? Never mind.
You know,
Anyways.
you know what kind of
Yeah,
mod I'm
you know
talking
what kind of
about.
mods.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
know what kind of mods we're talking
Yeah,
about.
Noodle.
Hey, next.
I almost said it. I said Noodle. Google.
Google.
So Google as so it's going to be always online. And the thing with always online is that they're always monitoring you,
Mm-hmm.
and that leads to
Big
some
Brother.
Yeah, that leads to some privacy issues. Because have you seen the controller, Marion, or guys?
Yeah, it looks like a regular
I
controller.
have
It-
not.
it
looks like a
looks-
Switch Pro
seen
controller.
the controller
It
yet,
looks
no.
like an Xbox 360 control pad, but like less ergonomic. It doesn't look comfortable to
It
hold.
looks like the Pro controller for Switch.
Kind of, but the Pro controller at least looks good. Like, it looks
Sure.
it looks nice to
It
hold.
looks original.
yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I don't
But,
know. So it's a regular controller. It
That's what the
doesn't
controller
hurt
looks
my
like?
eyes or anything.
Let me see it.
Is this it?
Kind of. That's a pretty close mock-up of it. It's
Looks like a PS2 controller but thinner.
It's a little
Yeah.
smoother than that, but
It's a little
smooth.
weird, actually.
yeah, but it's got a built-in microphone into it.
Ooh, that's surprising.
That's
Yeah,
not,
that's.
don't worry, guys. It's not.
We're not looking into your data. We're not
It's-
listening to
it's
what
so
you
can-
say.
It's so you can contact the Google Assistant anytime you want. We're
Yeah,
not
it's not
spying
like
on
they're
you.
We're not
monitoring you
spying on you,
24/7.
definitely. We already stole your
It's not
most
like
of your
they can
information.
turn that
when you
on
log in.
anytime when
Yeah.
you're sleeping.
Yeah, tech companies don't do that at all.
Yeah, you know.
No, they don't collect our data. What are
Yeah,
you talking
Google, you are
about?
100% protecting the citizens of this country.
Mm-hmm, exactly. They would never steal our data and send it off to people.
All right, let's
so they
not
can
go off the
manipulate
deep end
us.
now. Google,
Yeah,
Google's. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so we don't know. We don't know for sure if they're gonna do that yet, but I wouldn't be surprised because
Doesn't hurt to be skeptical, man.
that's just how that's just how tech companies are nowadays, man. Like look at
Crazy
Facebook and Apple.
times. Yeah, Apple.
I remember
Right.
back when I think it was I think it was EA. They made a thing about it was My Sim City or something. Remember when like My Sim City came out? And I think that's what it was. I know it was like building your own city or something like that.
Wait, which SimCity? Was it called My Sim City, or was it do you mean like SimCity like 2000 or 6 or whatever?
I don't know, but I remember they made one recently, and it was always online, and people hated it.
Yeah, that's the one I was thinking of.
Yeah.
It was always online, so it led to a lot of problems.
Yeah, there was like connectivity issues. It lagged a lot. You couldn't really do anything.
You couldn't
on
play it. You couldn't play it at all sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes you couldn't even play it at all because you always had to be online.
Yeah, and then people hacked it so you could play it offline and it played just fine.
Mm-hmm.
So always online does have that issue too, where if you can't get online for whatever reason, then you can't play your games.
And people are kind of afraid of that always online thing, so that means they'll probably like stay away from this kind of like subject, or this kind of streaming service.
Whoa.
Yeah, well, like I said,
Technical difficulties.
it's all right, guys. Like I said, it just depends on your connection. Like if you're the kind of person who has like a rock solid, powerful internet,
Rock solid.
it's gonna be no problem for you. But for like people like like the average person like me, like my internet goes down all the time at my house.
Yeah.
So if I was streaming a game, I'd have like tons of packet loss, which would create lots of lag and latency.
You said your internet goes down nowadays, like every
Well,
time.
it just every now and then.
Potato internet.
No, maybe I don't know. I don't know what our internet plan is like, but yeah, like every now and then, like I'll just come home from work and it'll just be like not working. So I'll have to like unplug the router and fix everything again. So like that's a big problem that comes up when you're talking about streaming services.
Yeah.
That's kind of why I prefer digital downloads or owning a physical copy, because if my internet is down, I can still play those games.
Yeah.
But if it's a streaming service, then you're out of luck.
Hey man, if this is your thing, guys, go get it. Support the industry.
Oh, somebody's gonna love this.
Somebody's going to love this. Yes, a lot of people are going to love this, but there are also
Little
gonna be some people
12-year-old
who don't
Timmy's
like
gonna ask mommy to buy it for him because
Maybe not Timmy. Timmy doesn't. Do little kids care about streaming video games? Because this seems like it'd be more for like the moms and like
the mom.
the
Yeah,
people
you're
outside,
right. Maybe
people
yeah.
outside of the gaming community. This
You're right.
this is like more catered to
it.
them.
Little Timmy's still playing Fortnite, so don't worry about him.
Fortnite. Isn't Fortnite going to be on this thing?
Probably.
Stadia.
Fortnite, maybe later.
But they're doing crossplay, so you know what I'm saying?
Google Stadia or Fortnite?
Yeah, Stadia stuff.
Oh yeah, Stadia. Yeah, because they did mention that, but I
They
think
did
Fortnite
mention
also
that.
does
Mhm.
crossplay.
Yeah.
But they mentioned that. They mentioned having multiple simultaneous streams, and that's gonna like tie into like multiplayer and stuff like that. Or you can maybe have like people playing different games at different times.
I can see this having like a partnership with Twitch. I could see like how that would work.
Maybe they announced that they have a lot of partners. They showed a big screen that had like 20 different companies on it. I don't know if Twitch was on there, but there's a lot. So they're really pushing this thing. So it could eventually be big. And Google has like a really like widespread like network.
They have a big.
They own
influence, yeah.
YouTube.
They
So
do on YouTube. They own a lot of stuff.
That's the thing people don't know. Most people, I guess.
Yeah, most people don't know that.
I don't know. Speaking of, they actually brought a YouTube guy out. He talked a little bit about something called.
His name is Matt Pat.
I stopped watching at that point. God, I hate Matt Pat.
Hey, Matt Pat. Shout out to Matt Pat, man. You're doing your thing. But
Hey,
I
it's
don't
just
watch your stuff, but anyways.
Yeah,
It's
do
just
your,
a theory.
Keep doing your bad, awful thing, Matt Pat. Your content sucks.
Ooh.
I have
Wow.
not
Diss
watched-
track coming soon.
I have
track,
not
no.
watched Matt
Yeah,
Pat in
diss track.
so long. I haven't watched
I've
Game
watched-
Theory yet or anything.
I've sat through one of his videos, and it was the worst. It was the For Honor one where he talks about like who would win a fight between like Vikings, samurais, and knights. And it's he thinks that Vikings actually walked around like shirtless in the icy tundras, and he also thought that katanas could cut through like plate mail.
I remember his old stuff.
That's like not just like you don't have to be like an expert to know that stuff. That's just like common fact. That's why Warhammers existed, because they could beat they could like get through plate mail.
I remember his old stuff
Warhammer
was pretty
5K.
good.
People, everyone says that. Everyone says his old videos were good, but I never like watched them. Like
What was
His
it?
old,
back
his
then.
old
Was
videos were really good, but before he became like big.
Were they? I don't know.
Yeah,
It's
like
that-
it was like before he became like huge and popular. So it was more like down to earth a little bit.
I hear you can't take any sort of criticism at all. That's like the one thing
Yeah,
I heard about
that's
him.
Hey,
another
man.
thing.
DSP, number
Matt-
one gamer on YouTube. Shout out
DSP's at least
DSP.
fun to make fun of.
Shout out DSP.
Yeah, Matt Pat's videos are just kind of boring because it's all just because he always like jumps on these like trends like Five Nights at Freddy's is popular. Let's make a million Five Nights at Freddy's videos.
Oh my god,
FNAF.
those are insane.
Fortnite's
That game's
popular.
boring to me. I'm sorry, man. I can't play that
Five
game.
Nights at Freddy's is kind of boring.
The only reason I cared about
Because you're
that
a
was
security
just-
guard. You're just watching You're just watching cameras,
It's
right?
a jump scare.
It's
Well,
a
like,
jump scare.
once you get like past the jump scares, there's like nothing to that game.
Look, if you want to play it, know about Five Nights at Freddy's, just watch the Markiplier videos. That's what everyone else does.
That's what I did.
Markiplier Asian? What is he?
I don't know. I've
not
never
sure
I've
what
never really
Markiplier
been
is.
Like
a
Asian
father.
and white?
I've never really cared too much about like what a person's like heritage is. So I don't know. He looks.
Nah, he looks like an interesting guy. I'm just saying, physically.
He does physically, but yeah, he's a nice. Mark Poller seems like a nice guy. I don't really like care for his videos that much, but I have watched his Five Nights at Freddy's videos just because I want to know what the game is like, and he's like the guy who always does them.
Yeah, he was the Five Nights at Freddy's guy for a while, but now the game's kind of like died, thankfully, so we don't have to deal with it anymore.
Yeah, well, it'll probably be back eventually.
Yeah, sometime it'll be back.
Are you guys getting any signal in your headphones, or what's up?
I am now. I wasn't in the beginning.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I just turned up the knob
I'm
earlier.
not getting it still.
Okay, yeah, I was
Not
like,
getting
wondering
any?
what that was.
Nah, we're gonna have to figure this out
Yeah,
during the break, guys. So do not
there's
worry
some
about
technical
this.
issues, but we can fix it.
But you guys are hearing us anyway, so it doesn't matter.
All right. Well, in that case, we're gonna take a quick break.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll be right back, guys. Stick around, and we'll be back in a few minutes. All right, and we're back.
We're back.
All right, we are back indeed.
All right, guys. So do you want to continue talking about the Google Stadia? Because there's still a lot more we can go over.
Sure, let's do it.
Yeah, because this was huge, man. So we talked previously about the about kind of like what the service is going to be like, but now I want to kind of talk about what the developers are going to be able to do with it. Cause,
developers.
Yeah, because developers, there's a lot of crazy things developers can do with Google Stadia, according to Google and what we saw on the GDC stage floor.
Mm-hmm.
So aside from being flexible with the consumers, they want to be flexible with developers too.
Yeah.
And I mentioned earlier that Google servers have a ton of power, and they gave an example. They gave an instance where one single server, one single GPU at Google data center has 10.7 teraflops of like processing power, and that's more than the PS4 Pro and the Xbox One X combined.
Yeah,
Seriously?
PS4 is what?
Yeah.
4.7.
PS4 Pro is 4, has like 4 teraflops, and the Xbox One X has 6.2.
6.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's crazy. That's like a lot. That's crazy processing power. Developers are going to be able to do some like crazy stuff with that, and you can have multiple GPUs too. So it's not just like one.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of potential there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the PS4 Pro and Xbox One X are on their way out. They're old consoles at this point.
Yeah.
So the PS5 and the new Xbox are going to be like it's not going to be as much of a gap.
It's gonna be because Nintendo's already got their new console out, so it's now time for Sony and Microsoft to maybe catch up with them.
Yeah. Wait, do you mean like a new Switch or?
Well, no, I mean like this. I mean that's what I was calling the new console, the Switch.
There's apparently a new Switch on the. There's rumored
It's a Switch Mini.
There's rumored to be like a more powerful Switch on the way too. That's
of course
that's a rumor that I've heard, but yeah, like 10.7 teraflops. That's a lot, man. But
That's a flex.
it's a big flex. And that like I said, that's just one. So.
But then again, we gotta wait till it comes out. See if they're really about the
I was
numbers.
going to talk about that because it all goes back to your internet connection because like that's a lot of power, but that's data that you have to receive. So
yeah, you need to have that own data for yourself.
Yeah, if you're gonna buy the Stadia, you have to have good internet.
If you want to play games at a high fidelity on Stadia, you have to have good internet. If you want to just play like an average regular game with like
pretty
1080p, average the average experience, you can probably play it just fine on like
Yeah, you can use AV composite cables.
Yeah. As long as you're not as long as you're not going over a data cap or
Yeah.
Your internet's not like like acting like kind of like weird.
Yeah. As long as your internet is working fine, you should be able to play this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's kind of the point of what they were saying because they showed it. Like I said, they showed it playing on tablets and smartphones that aren't very powerful, and it seemed to be running fine from what I could see. So.
Well, they always tend to have it like work their best at the show. So
that's GDC. That those are perfect conditions. So like we have to wait and see how it like works. In like in a real.
It's a wait and see,
setting.
yeah. Because I remember when Apple tried to do this kind of thing, like way back in like the '90s. Apple tried to have their own game console.
I don't.
No, they did.
Tried to have a game
iGame.
No, I forgot. It was like way early, like back when they made like the first Mac or something, and it was like they tried to like hop into the gaming service, like their own like gaming console. I forgot what it's called, but I know it's in like the early 2000s, late 90s. They had
I'm gonna look it up right now on my phone.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they did try to get in on
it.
It
was a big flop. Like they didn't do good at all.
Hold on, I'm gonna look up the name real quick.
Probably not.
Yes,
Well, Apple. There's rumors that Apple might be wanting to get into the streaming service too.
Again?
Yeah, with games, because like I said, it's just rumors at this point. But Apple and Amazon could also potentially do this, and they both currently have.
Yeah, that's it. It was the Pippin.
He's
the
right.
Apple
It's called
Pippin.
the Apple Bondi Pippin.
I've never even
Bandai
heard of that.
Pippin. Yeah, it was the Pippin. It was made in like what was it? The early 90s, some of the 90s.
Yeah, 96.
Yeah, 96. They made it in 96, and it was such a flop because they tried to push things like yeah, we're gonna compete with Nintendo. It's gonna be the greatest thing ever. The Pippin is gonna be the next wave.
It came out in
of
Japan
video
first.
games.
Wow, that's
And it flopped as soon as it came out of the gate.
hey man, whoever
It
has
came out in
that,
Japan. Nobody. You came out in Japan first.
yeah,
Yeah, Japan doesn't care about American consoles.
Yeah,
Like, why are you going
they
to
don't
Japan?
care.
They have the Nintendo and the PlayStation over there. Like they don't care about us.
Yeah, they're fine. They don't
Like the Xbox is still like not a huge like flop over there.
Yeah.
And so like no one owns an Xbox in Japan.
bro. Okay, anyways,
So I don't know if if this is going to be the same fate that happens to Google, but it very well could be, especially if they're getting a lot of competition from like Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo, even Steam would give them a run for their money.
Epic
Google-
Games.
Google's already
Yep.
Epic Games. Yeah, Epic Games might, but Google's already more like widespread than Apple was back then. You know, like everybody
Yeah.
uses like Google's all over the world. So
Google's a multi-international company at this point.
yeah. And God, they have like all the money in the world.
They came
so,
a
like,
long
Yeah,
way.
Google's
man.
got a lot of money and a lot of power, so they can push this thing to make it work.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's gonna have some pretty interesting features. So one thing they showed off for developers was this system called style transfer, and basically it's a developer tool. And what you do is that you basically like feed it an image, and then whatever the art style is on that image, it automatically puts it to the game in real time.
Really?
Yeah, so they
Wow.
showed that. Well, according to them, it's going to be in real time, but we don't know how fast that's going to be once the game comes out. But
Real
yeah, it's like,
time.
do you want your game to have like this sketchy looking style? Just give it like give the system a like a sketch drawing, and then it makes the game look like a sketch.
Okay.
And they gave an example where like they put in like they put in paintings like Starry Night, and it looked like Starry Night, and they like put in Pac-Man, and the game looked like Pac-Man.
Well, of course
They were like Pac-Man textures all over everything.
Well, they're gonna have.
Oh yeah, I've seen it. It was like 3D, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're just walking around in Pac-Man walls.
And then there's Pac-Man
Yeah.
there.
Crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, it could be something good for developers.
This could be developers could. This could work as maybe like an early, like start for developers, like trying to practice or train their craft. But like I said, who knows? This could be the greatest
yeah,
thing that
it
ever
could
happened
be.
to games, or it could be the worst thing that's ever happened.
Yeah, it sounds flexible.
Mhm.
But other features they talked about was here's one that's actually kind of cool. It's called State Share.
State share.
State share.
So it's like a save state. You make a save state. You know what those are, right?
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Save
so-
your game, and then you can come back to a save whenever you want.
So this is a feature that actually lets you like save a state, and then you can share it to people. Like you give them the link, and they can actually like come in and try to play like a segment of the game that you were on.
Oh, okay.
That's crazy.
So you can try to like make like
That's insane.
challenges, or you can have like you can have like little like time attacks with your friends and stuff like that.
So like if you're going like if you've been really far in a game and your little brother can't accidentally delete the save.
Maybe they can probably still delete it, but you can at least send it to people. And maybe they can send it back to you.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's kind of cool though. And something else that they showed up. I'm not too sure about this one. It's called crowd play. So
Yeah, I heard of that.
They brought this idea like, oh, have you ever been like watching like a streamer play and you want to like just join them like in the game like right away?
Nah.
Oh, so they're having this.
With crowd play, you just push a button and you
That's
can
gonna
get
be-
into the game right away.
Oh,
No,
people are
man.
not
You know
gonna
how much
like
people are
this.
gonna-
That's not good because you know what's gonna happen, right?
That's gonna become cancer.
Yeah, because 420 Bong Hitler's gonna join your game and he's gonna roll you in your entire. Like, he's gonna roll
Yeah,
everybody
man.
in the lobby. So
Gonna mess everything up.
that's
Like,
what.
can you imagine what's gonna happen if like Ninja gets like stream sniped like this?
Ninja.
Oh, he probably already gets stream sniped like crazy.
Yeah.
But God, yeah, that's not a good idea. Because that's an example of the convenience not making it better. Because you kind of want lobbies. You want to be able to see what everybody's connections are.
Yeah, you want to see because like back in the old days,
see
like
what their history is. You want to see like what their if they're like a rage quitter, like
Yeah.
like fighting games have like a disconnect
quitter.
percentage, and that's good to know because if they have a lot of disconnects, that means they rage quit a lot. So you know
Yeah.
to avoid that person.
So you can have like a decent fight. But if you're gonna have this, like people just like randomly hop in at times, like, wait, who are you? I don't want you playing here right now.
Yeah,
Too
that-
bad
that-
you're here. I'm here.
That seems a little too open.
Freaking noob.
Yeah, that's
Talking to me.
No, I'm not talking to nobody. Talk.
yeah. This is I don't know how that's gonna work. I don't think that's. I'm not sure
Yeah,
if that's a
that-
very good idea.
Maybe they might have like filters in place, but that seems like it'd be like
Filters?
some way to like
Yeah.
filter people out. But that just seems like a bad idea because you're kind of opening the floodgates. At
I
that
can already
point.
see. I can already
Yeah.
imagine a bunch of people just trying to turn that thing into dog. What else? No, I
Dog,
can't
yeah,
say that.
I know,
can't say
yeah.
that.
I know what
Okay,
you're gonna say though.
There's gonna be a lot of like trolls and stuff hopping in on here so they can take advantage of stuff.
Ultimate troll. They're gonna come in. I'm telling you.
Yeah, oh man, DSP's never gonna sleep at night with this thing.
DSP. I think Ninja's
man.
gonna have nightmares about this now because he already complained about
Pay
stream sniping
avatars
before,
and-
but now he's gonna have to have random people hopping in on his Fortnite streams. Oh, that's gonna be fun.
How to not play Google Stadia.
I'm not
How
playing
to not
Stadia.
play Google Stadia?
He probably couldn't even get it to work.
He would probably have to be paid by someone to
be
have
No,
it
it's,
work.
it's literally a button, and he misses pressing the button like all the time.
It's like, what is this? I don't get it.
Oh man, but
I don't get it.
Drake, help me out.
speaking of the crowd play, actually there's another. They mentioned that it's going to be good for content creation too. You know, since we're talking about streamers and DSP.
Yeah, but then you're gonna
Yeah.
get a bunch of generic YouTubers. Oh yeah, I'm on Google Stadia. Follow
That's
me.
kind of that's kind of thing I want to talk about. So
Follow
it's
me.
great. It's great that they're making it like really like open and easy to use.
Of course.
Because they mentioned like, oh, it's going to have a lower barrier of entry, so anybody can get into it. But you kind of want a barrier of entry sometimes, because that's what, if you like sort of like take away like that barrier of entry, you're now flooding the market.
Right.
So there's going to be we're going to see like this oversaturation of like this like really like low quality like lowest
Bad
common
gamers.
like lowest common denominator, like, you know, like garbage. You know,
yeah.
I don't want to say garbage because I don't want to be like rude to people, but you're just kind of
Elitist.
like, it's just kind of like flooding. You're going to just flood the market with like this really like, you know,
That's business.
generic gameplay.
You can't be
Yeah,
too hot in the
because
business.
And it's already really hard to get, if you're a content creator trying to, you know, get noticed on the internet, whether you're like a streamer or you make videos on YouTube, it's really hard to get noticed. And with this system, it might be easier for you to make content, but it's also going to be a lot harder to get noticed.
Imagine if someone with like a really large audience does this thing, like the crowd sharing thing. That's what it's called, right? Crowd sharing.
Well, crowd play was the
Crowd play.
lobby thing.
Yeah, crowd play. Imagine if someone like say like PewDiePie hops on like GTA 5. It's like, hey, we're gonna be playing GTA 5 today on the Google Stadia right now. So hop on in, join the bro army, all you 9-year-olds.
And he's apparently British now too.
Yeah, so that's a poor. That's a very
Swedish,
poor.
right?
No,
It's a very poor PewDiePie.
No, that's
He'll
all
be
right.
changing up his accent.
I'm making a joke.
Yeah, so yeah, but imagine of all those people just flooding the streaming of GTA 5. That's like all these people are like, wait, why are all these people here? I don't want all these people here. And then they just start messing around. People start going crazy.
Yeah.
The servers, and that's another thing that could happen. The servers could crash if too many people are on at the time.
Maybe
Isn't that up to
Google-
the creator?
Google hasn't
then?
had
Yeah.
any problems with their servers so far. Like YouTube has never crashed, and I don't think not that I'm aware of. But
But I'm sure that crowd play, that would be up to the content creator to let how many people would be in.
That would be a good
Yeah.
option to have.
they should have that
They
option.
should have that. Yeah, you would think that someone would have that.
Yeah.
yeah, there has to be some kind of filter
Take
in
notes,
place.
Google. We
Take notes, Google. We're giving you some
advice,
ideas
bro.
right here. Come on,
Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
Google, give us free stuff.
Google.
Oof, man, excuse me. Well, they already give us free. I guess is Google Chrome.
To be
free?
honest, I don't
We
even use
really
Google,
pay for
man.
it.
I use
Yeah.
DuckDuckGo. Forget
DuckDuckGo.
about
I've heard
Google,
about
man.
that. Yeah,
Yo, is that a real thing?
that
Yeah,
is
it's
a
a
real
real
actual.
search
It's a real service. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Looking at my searches and stuff. Google, get out of here, man.
That's another thing people are afraid about because Google, as people know that Google has like, there's been reports saying that Google has taken identity and stuff. They've stolen identity. They've sent it to like political
the
parties.
privacy concerns, yeah, and then there's like political issues too. You know, there's like I don't know if you guys have heard, but there was like that guy came out at Google and he released like this information that this like I don't know if it was a document or a flyer, but he released this thing that Google had in at their employment facilities.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And,
I heard about
there was
that.
there was a lot of this like heavy political bias involved in it.
Mhm.
And sorry guys.
You're probably talking about James Damore. Like some skinny
yeah,
white.
I think that was his name.
he was
yeah,
on
but,
Rogan's podcast talking
Yeah,
about
that's
that.
where I saw him too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
talking
so,
a bunch of other stuff about like workplace, like you said, bias and
yeah, there's like
Yeah.
this. So there's these allegations of political bias.
yeah. But that's another thing, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
that creates that's potential concerns right there, because like if they're going to be the ones controlling this, that gives them. That's the problem with digital services and streaming services, that because you're giving them all the control.
Yeah.
Who knows what they're doing? They might.
But again, it's
they
up to
might,
the people, right?
They might. Well, no, it's not. Not
it's not.
anymore. Not when they're in charge.
Hey man, if we
No.
take down the headquarters, I'm not advocating for the takedown of Google headquarters, but if people get mad enough, people have the
Plus,
power.
with
You
that
never
built-in
know.
microphone, you never know if they're listening in on you.
Oh, they are listening for sure.
Yeah.
They're going to be listening in.
Well, of course, they're gonna be listening on you. Well, of course, they're gonna listen in on you.
Google.
It's Google. You can trust them. I say in air quotations.
You can't trust any tech companies nowadays. That's kind of a philosophy that I never trusted Google and Facebook in the first place, and I still don't. Especially after that big
Information leak.
that big information leak and Facebook, like Mark Zuckerberg just straight up saying like, yeah, we like spy on you guys.
Zuckerberg, the Zuck.
Oh
Hey,
God.
let's get back to the games.
Yeah,
Let's get back to games.
Yeah, let's
Yeah,
get
we're
back to
getting
the
too deep
games.
right now. You know what I'm saying?
Actually, I think
We're
that's
getting too
about all.
woke for these people, man.
So Google Stadia.
Could it work?
that's
Maybe,
Google Stadia.
but
I'm
I'll
not
wait
buying
and see.
it. Next
Yeah,
topic.
it's not for me. I don't want streaming because, like I said, the problem with me isn't that I'm not into the idea. It's that I don't want latency in my games. And like I mentioned, I was playing Devil May Cry 5 last week.
Yes.
No latency.
Devil May Cry 5 is a game where if that game has even a little bit of lag, that game becomes
Unplayable.
it's not unplayable, but it loses all the appeal because it's a very like technical like skill based game.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of in mechanics that are very like they're very timing based.
It's kind of like Bloodborne, right? Bloodborne is really fast. It's 60 frames.
It's very fast and timing based
but
too.
when after you like kill like a boss or something, and it says victory achieved or something.
Prey
now you see
slaughter.
the blood splatter.
Bloodborne.
Yeah, prey slaughter,
yeah.
and it's like there's a super lag on that part. But then after that, it's gone.
Well, that's just the game chugging, but I'm talking
And it's
about
a 2015
I'm
game.
talking about latency though, like
Yeah.
your inputs feel delayed. Like I was gonna give an example. Devil May Cry 5 has a character called Nero, and he's got a sword called Red Queen.
Oh,
And
that's a cool sword
it's a
name.
cool name, and it's a really cool sword because it has an engine in it, and he like throttles it, like the hilt has a throttle in it.
Yeah.
So he throttles the engine and it makes the sword like light up on fire. And there's a mechanic where after you like swing it, you can push the throttle button, and it instantly like makes the sword light on fire.
Wow.
Because if you don't do it otherwise, you have to like stop fighting and like throttle it yourself. And that's a mechanic where if you put a little bit of latency there, that move becomes
Less appealing, like you said.
practically unusable
Like
because
you're
it's so timing based.
Yeah. And this could also
Especially
be
if
a
you're about
problem
to
with
slash
like,
an enemy and then
and this
like
could also be a
delayed.
problem with like fighting games, like more your Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, Super Smash Brothers. If it slows down even a little bit, that could ruin your
those games
timing.
become games with bad netcode. I just like there's a lot of good fighting games that just have like bad netcode, like Dragon Ball Fighters.
Dragon Ball Fighters is a
Dragon
great
Ball
example.
Fighters
yes.
has bad netcode. It's not the worst, but it's like not great either. And Marvel vs. Capcom 3, Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3.
Yeah.
That game is so fun, but the netcode is garbage.
Yes.
You cannot play that game online. Oh, you can, but good luck.
You better have the best. You better have the best online because you're gonna struggle.
You just need to know how to play
Smash
online.
Bros. Online still good?
I haven't tried it yet, to be honest.
I heard it's
Because
like-
I don't know.
There's a lot of people saying, yeah, it's good. Yeah, you shaking your head over there? Yeah, okay.
I never had good matches on Smash. I always had like I was this is Smash 4 though, not Smash Ultimate, but Smash 4 I had really bad matches.
Well, Smash 4
Smash 4
was
had some decent
garbage,
matches.
dude.
I had a few good ones, but I had a lot of bad ones too. Because like with Smash, because with Smash if you're either in a one-on-one with a guy who has a good connection, or you're in like a 4-player match with people who have like
Varying
multiple people
connections.
with varying
yeah.
connections.
It's interesting.
And the
yeah.
Switch is portable, so you have guys like moving the thing around and like messing the connection up even more.
Yeah.
That's kind of the concern that I have.
I'm going to go to the living
online.
room while I'm cooking.
Yeah,
Wasabi.
he'll just throw it out the window and that's it. The match is over.
Oh, there it goes. All right. Game over.
Yeah.
Game over. Oops doodles.
Yeah.
Oops, I'm losing. Time to run to the laundry room where you're not going to get.
Right, I gotta go to work and
But,
anyways.
yeah, well, that's Google Stadia for you. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, keep an eye on it. You might
keep an eye
you
on
might enjoy it. I personally have no interest in it, but
There's an audience out there. It may not be for the most hardcore gamers, but there's an audience, and Google will appeal to it. They'll make money. They might not make money.
And if you're a game developer or you want to get into game development, Google might have they might have a lot of like really like good, easy to use tools for you to use because that's kind of what they made it sound like.
If you love it, get it. If you don't, next topic.